Hi everyone and welcome to Club 2 episode 15 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM22 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So can I first off apologise for the lack of content last week. I had my booster jab for COVID and it wiped me out completely, to be honest, so I wasn't able to record last week, but we're back and we're ready and raring to go, and we're back at Ballyclare in Northern Irish Championship level. And we're doing very, very well. I'll fill you in all of the details as to how well we've done and what's coming up as we get into the episode. So let's do this. Welcome back to Ballyclare. Absolutely. Championship level of Northern Irish football. We are in our second club of our Journeyman series, trying to get right to the top of British football, hence the Rolling in the Isles, the British Isles Journeyman save. And at the moment, we're in the Championship of Northern Ireland, and we've just coming up to the halfway point of our season. It might not look like it because there's only one fixture scheduled, but that's because at the end of this game, the top half break off and continue to play each other for another 10 games to decide who's going to win the title. And the eagle-eyed viewers out there of you will see that we're sitting top. And that's really, really far in advance of what I expected us to do so far this season. I was kind of hoping to get into this third place position and get one of these playoff spots. It looks like we're very, very much on course to that. So we've got one more game to play today against Ballyclare, and they're sitting in third position. And that then leads us into this second half of the season where, as I say, the top six break away and continue to play each other. So we've got some difficult games till the end of the season, but currently we've got a 5-point gap at the top of the table, which is magnificent. So we are looking on form for getting where I want, which is a minimum expectation of playoffs and a maximum expectation of, can we possibly get automatic promotion? We'll have to see. It's going to be tricky, but we'll do the best that we can. In terms of our recent form, it's not been too bad, actually. We had a couple of blips a few games ago, one of them in the cup competition against Distillery, which then sent us into the game against Dundela, who unfortunately beat us in the league, just at the point where we were on a really very, very good run of form. But you can see we got straight back to it. H&W Welders, Ards and Armagh have since played. We've since played them and won 2 of those and drawn the other one. So form is decent. The table topping position is amazing. And we are now in the January transfer window. And there has been one deal at this point that has gone through already in the January transfer window. Wasn't really something I wanted to do. But one of my central defenders, McCann, was approaching the end of his contract. I was trying for a long time to try and get him to sign a new one. In the end, he decided not to, and he found himself a transfer on a free, basically. So he left the club. So we had to go and find somebody to fill that spot. So let's just get into the transfer history page. So we'll have a look at Ben McCann, sorry. This is Ben McCann, who left the club. He doesn't look anything particularly special because ultimately the level of football we're at, this is the type of player we're dealing with. But in the way that we were playing, he was very good for us. And he leaves the club and has gone on, who's he gone on to? Warren Point, I think it was. Yes, it was. So we had to find a replacement. I don't have a lot of money to spend. The club's finances are not particularly great at the moment. So I went into the free transfer market and I bought in this guy, Jordan Morrison. Now, mentals are atrocious. I understand that, but the reason I bought him was the physicals are exceptionally good for this level of football. He's also got a better tackling and marking rating than we had before with McCann. So those are 2 really, really important attributes for the central defender role. So ultimately, yes, I understand that these mentals are not great. I'm just hoping that his ability to get round the pitch and get to things first through a little bit of pace might help him out a bit. If it doesn't work out, we'll have to go in another direction. But ultimately, this guy comes into the club and will play today in a very, very new looking back line. If I go straight into the tactics, we'll also see that there's a second player in this back line that's making a bit of an impact, to be honest. Previously, McCann was playing in this spot with Armstrong. And here is Armstrong. You can see, again, physicals let him down. And that's why he's been dropped out of the side a little bit. But the mentals are more there. And he's okay on his defending attributes. But the new guy alongside Morrison is a very, very young guy, Black. Aiden Black, and he's 16 years old, but I just feel like, firstly, he's come in and played a few games for us now, and he's looking very, very good. His average rating is currently up at 7.33. For an average rating, he's done great. And this is the sort of player that we're going to have to potentially improve and then sell on if we can to start making some money at this club. If not, keep him around and keep him in the first team. But you can see decent physicals. Mentals are okay in a couple of key areas. Work rate, teamwork, leadership, determination, aggression, all very, very good ratings for him. In the attributes for technicals, he's not fantastic, but give him a few more games, give him a half a season, and I think some of these attributes will boost quite a bit, you would imagine, as he progresses. And I think because he's got that really good average rating so far, he deserves his first team spot just at the moment. So that's what we're going to do for today's game. We're going to pair him up with the new guy Morrison in that central defence and see how we get on with that. It might not work. Morrison might be a step down from McCann just because McCann was entrenched in the club and knew the players and had all of these lines sorted with his partner in crime at the back there and stuff. So it could be a bit of a down step just for a little while in the defence, but hopefully not. The rest of the setup is pretty much as you would expect it to be, really. So for today's match against Ballyclare, third position Ballyclare, remember, and we are at home, we're going to go in with Hogg in goal, Smith at right back, Curry at left back, Black and Morrison in central defence, Grayson McKee in central midfield, Crook on the right, Burns on the left, and Bander and Kelly up top, with a bench of Armstrong, Parker, Brennan, McLaughlin and Shearer. You can see that everybody else is fit in the squad, so this is just the team that I'm able to pick because I want to. So let's see how we get on. So in terms of the team talk, I've basically tried to be positive and keep it upbeat. We're on a good run of form. Those last 3 matches, 2 wins and a draw. So I've gone outstretched arms and I've just said, stick to the plan, stay patient and we'll be fine. Hopefully, we'll just keep rolling onwards and forwards as we end our first half campaign. The season breaks, as I say, and we switch into that top 6 teams playing each other to find out who becomes the champion of the league. And so it's important for us to go in with as much momentum and morale as possible. So I'm hoping for a good performance here. But Ballyclare are going to be a tricky opponent. They're always good. They're always difficult to play. And they're currently sitting in 3rd position in that last of the 2 playoff spots. So they're going to be fighting for that as much as they can. Being at home, that you would hope that would give us the advantage. But so far, it doesn't really seem to have. We've been even in possession. The XG ratings are appalling, really. And we've had fairly similar amount of chances. But all the highlights so far have come from Ballyclare having a go at our goal. Even though we've had a few shots ourselves, it hasn't been worthy of a highlight just yet. And that's a little bit of a concern. As we reach the 35-minute mark, you can see that we've yet to have a strike at goal whilst on the highlight. We've only had 1 on target the entire match. They've now had 9 shots at goal and 5 on target. They've upped their count quite considerably in the last 10-15 minutes of the first half. It's a little bit of a worrying first half, if I'm totally honest. I feel like that the bulk of the highlights obviously came for the opposition. They've picked up a bunch of yellow cards though, so they're going to have to be a little bit careful in this second half. But just at the moment, we've got a little bit more possession, but everything else is going against us so far in terms of the ratings and the statistics for this first half. So we've got to do something about this, I feel. So maybe we're too passive, too laid back, too encouraging in the first half team talk. So we're going to have to be a little bit more in the face. Point the finger Simply got to be better in front of goal, at least start hitting the target more often. That's the one I want to give, because it is the biggest problem that we've got. We're having a couple of shots at goal, but they're not getting through to the goalkeeper to actually challenge him in between the posts. So we've got to find a way to do that. So we're going to the shouts, fire them up for the second half as well. Hopefully get off to a good start. Crook gets the first opportunity, has a shot at goal. There is a highlight for us, but he puts it wide of the goal, just narrowly, unfortunately. And we have to reset ourselves and go again. Good early sign, though, that we've had a couple of shots at goal and they've yet to register one in this second half. So hopefully that momentum of the game is just shifting in our favour just a little bit. We're reaching the hour mark, and again, it's gone a little bit quiet. Can't afford for that to happen. So we're going to go into a more attacking approach. We're going to go see if we can make a couple of changes as well at this point, because it feels like that striking setup is not working for us. We've got a number of issues you can see immediately. For example, our left fullback, Curry, who's usually pretty good, is having a very bad game today. And we can't let that slide. So we're going to take him out and put Parker on down the left-hand side. But then we are going to make one of these changes up top as well. And it's going to be Kelly. Yellow card, 6.4 average rating. Not a good performance by him. So we're going to bring Patrick Shearer in instead. And we're going to keep the third of our changes in reserve just for now, just in case we need it. We've upped the attacking mentality. And I've been seeing a lot recently about setting your style of play and your tactic and your formation up, and then using the mentality more than changing the shape and trying to cause an issue for the opposition through change of direction and shape, and just using that mentality a little bit better to see if you can unlock a way to get through them in the match engine. So we'll see whether that one works today. We'll keep the style of play as it is, and just up the levels of mentality here and there. And we might even reduce it just to keep hold of the ball a little bit later on as well, if we can. But for now, it's all about trying to break through the lines and trying to get through to them to have a go at their goal. You can see that we've had a couple of half opportunities, and here is the good one. And it's Shearer through on goal, and he puts it at the goalkeeper. The diving goalkeeper smothers the space and palms it out for a corner kick to us into that near post, and the header goes over the top of the bar. You can see that we had in that passage of play a couple of opportunities to try and get through the lines and didn't quite make it until that last one. But then we've got to find a way to put it on target and in the goal to get the points at some point. We've equalised in terms of chances created and all that kind of stuff in the second half. So we're doing pretty well in the second half compared to Ballyclare anyway. And it's now just about finding that one moment, and Crook tries a little dink over the top of the goalkeeper. Didn't quite have enough space for it. With about 10 minutes to go, we're going to go back into the tactics page and make that final change and see if we can unlock something. So let's see what we can do here. I think it's going to have to be, let's take Burns out on the left-hand side and put McLaughlin in. A fairly good young player, McLaughlin. Hopefully his youthful exuberance can come in and do something a little bit extra than the experienced Burns was able to do. Do I want to change anything in terms of the mentality? I don't think I do. I think we're on a good momentum shift just at the moment. We've been seeing a lot of opportunities in this second half. 16 shots at goal now for us, only 14 for them. So you can see that we've overtaken them on that count, but we've only put 4 on target, and that is the biggest problem we've got in this game. And are we going to get sucker punched? No. Morrison, the new guy, sorts it out at the back for us and sets us back going the other way. McKee over the top for Crook. Really good ball. Crook into the box down the right-hand side and puts a brilliant ball at the top of the 6-yard box. But Banda can only shoot it at the goalkeeper or at the post, one or the other. It rebounds off one or the other, and it comes back out to us in midfield, and we reset ourselves and build again. And Banda from a long shot, and this one I think just goes sailing over the top of the bar. It does, unfortunately. Couple of bits of late pressure there, and it's Ballyclare with a final opportunity possibly, and they've put it into our defensive unit. Again, Morrison sorts it out. We put it up to Banda, but he can't hold on to the ball, and they're going to counter-attack. But then the final whistle eventually does go. It's a little bit of a frustrating game, really. First half, we were nowhere near good enough. They had a good couple of chances, Ballyclare, that they didn't put the ball in the back of the net themselves. And then in that second half, we put all the pressure on, tried as hard as we could. We got a 1.5 XG rating. We should have got a goal from that. The expected goals from the game, 20 shots at goal in the end. So that second half was brilliant in a lot of ways. The big problem was we only put 4 of those 20 on target, and we could not get it past the goalkeeper. So we're going to have to improve that as we go on. But the thing that I'm really pleased about is that new back line. Black and Morrison in central defence, supported very ably by a good group around them in midfield and in the fullbacks. And we looked very solid. Can we find a goal from somewhere in the next few games? Let's hope so. So whilst it was a disappointing result in a lot of ways, I mean, that second half performance I feel deserved a goal. I suspect Ballyclare would say the same thing about their first half display, though. The positive that came out of it again, though, is that we did keep the same distance away from Ballyclare. We are currently 8 points clear of them. They're now sitting down in 4th. Armagh have come up above them into 3rd position. They've got a game in hand over us. So in theory, Armagh could take that lead of ours down. But currently it's sitting at 6 points. And that's really positive. All I'm now most concerned about is just trying to stay in this top 3 and get at the minimum into these playoff spots. I'm not quite thinking of the championship just yet. I feel like that's a little bit premature at the moment. We're on a decent enough run, but we've now got to play these top 6 teams for the rest of the season, and they're going to be tricky. Ultimately, we'll see how we get on. But at the moment, I'm still trying to desperately make sure that we stay clear of this in this 3rd position spot at the very, very minimum. And we'll see what else happens. But that's going to do it for today. If we go and look in on the schedule, you can see that just at the moment, we do not have the next round of fixtures drawn for us. We don't quite know where we're going to head through in terms of playing those top other 5 sides in that top 6. So it's going to be tricky, whatever, though, because that's why they're in the top 6. We'll see how we get on. So next episode, come back and join me and we'll continue this run through this season. We'll play one of these teams in the top 6 as we get into the second half of our season. There's probably about 3 episodes that I want to play just to get us through this second half and see if we can make a proper tilt at that championship. But more than anything, try and stay in those playoff spots with some very tricky fixtures to come. Anyway, decent enough today. It keeps us moving forward. It's not a loss, which is positive at this point in the season. Can we keep that form going, though, and win some more points enough to stay at the top of the table? You'll have to join me next episode. Until then, thank you for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Again, apologies for the break last week, but sometimes it's necessary. But we're back, we're running, and we're heading towards Christmas with Ballin and Mallard. Can we get them a really good Christmas present of automatic promotion to the next division up in the Northern Irish football pyramid? We'll see. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That'll help me get seen by more people. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.